إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام والسنة. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the Sunnah. حدثني جماعة من الشيوخ بإسناد كل إلى سفيان بن عيينة عن عمرو بن دينار عن أبي قابوس عن عبد الله بن عمرو بن عاص رضي الله تعالى عنهما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء. وقال العلماء ذلك بأن العلم رحمة غايته في الدنيا رحمة ونتيجته في الآخرة رحمة. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in a hadith that is called musalsal bil awwaliyya. It is a hadith that is musalsal bil awwaliyya. It is a hadith that many of the scholars of the past, they will begin by teaching their new pupils, by teaching them this hadith. And it's to outline knowledge and the importance of knowledge and the goal of seeking knowledge and the like. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that those who are merciful, they will be shown mercy by the most merciful. So be merciful to those who are in the earth, and the one who is above the heavens, he will show you mercy. The reason the ulama will teach this hadith as the first hadith when teaching the new student who was seeking knowledge was to show them the nature of knowledge. The nature of knowledge when it is implemented, what one is looking for, so on and so forth. The ulama, they mentioned, they said ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ الْعِلْمِ رَحْمَةً. They said this is because knowledge is mercy. Knowledge is mercy, meaning when it is applied. نَتِيجَتُهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا رَحْمَةً. The result of knowledge in this world is mercy. When knowledge is applied, when beneficial knowledge is applied, the result of it in this world will be mercy, bring about mercy. A good situation, bring about good. وَغَايَتُهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ رَحْمَةً. And the ultimate goal of knowledge is to receive mercy in the hereafter. That's the ultimate goal. It's so in the hereafter, due to seeking knowledge and acquiring knowledge and implementing knowledge, we will receive mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by being entered into the Jannah. So this is the reason that we seek knowledge and we seek to understand, that we memorize, so that we may implement, so that we can live in accordance to and act upon. This is very, very important. And this will bring about mercy. When the person applies knowledge, then this will have an effect upon their total person. This will have an effect upon the manner in which they speak. So you'll find from them words that will lend to and lead to mercy. They will be forbearant. They will be patient. They will say the right word at the right time. And because of their knowledge, they will know when not to say anything. They will know when to withhold their speech. They will act in a way that is appropriate, that won't have any bad repercussions, but will have good repercussions because they're implementing their knowledge, doing what they're supposed to do and staying away from what they're supposed to stay away from. So on and so forth. And just reflect upon the importance of knowledge when applied, the importance of knowledge when applied in an individual's life, and all of the beneficial fruit and that will spring from that. Just some points of reflection, inshallah ta'ala. We continue going over the tremendous book by Imam al-Nawawi, his 40 hadith, and we have reached the section in this particular hadith that we've been looking at for the past few classes, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, وَمَنْ سَلَكَ طَرِيقًا يَلْتَمِسُ فِيهِ عِلْمًا سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ لَهُ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ, that whoever traverses a path seeking knowledge therein, whoever traverses a path seeking knowledge therein, then Allah will make it easy for that individual the path to the Jannah. Allah will make it easy for that person the path to Jannah. This right here, this statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for everyone who is truly concerned about themselves, for everyone who is truly looking after their best interest, then this should be a point that you really stick to. This should be a highlighting point. This should be an extreme encouragement for you. Because the one who is concerned for himself and they want good for themselves, the one who wants the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they hear this, that the Jannah, the path of Jannah will be made easy for individuals, then your attention should immediately go up. Your attention should immediately be drawn. The path of Jannah, that's what I've been looking for. The path of Jannah made easy, your attention should immediately go up and be drawn. How? How can the path of Jannah be made easy? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, by seeking knowledge. Man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilma, sahhala Allahu lahu tariqan ila Jannah. سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. That whoever traverses a path seeking knowledge, then Allah will make it easy for him, due to them seeking knowledge, the path to the Jannah. نعم سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. The great Allama, the great scholar, Muhaddith al-Medina, the Muhaddith of Medina, the greatest scholar of hadith currently in Al-Medina, Shaykh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad al-Badr, hafidhahullah ta'ala, he mentions, he says, فيه الحث على طلب العلم الشرعي, that in it there is an encouragement. In this portion of the hadith, this is an encouragement to seek knowledge, the knowledge of the religion, legislative knowledge. And I want you to really think about this, because the knowledges or the disciplines that we are encouraged to study, the disciplines that parents will get very upset with their children over, the disciplines that certain parents may actually discipline their children over, the disciplines that children will get punished due to and because of them, not performing well or not taking it seriously, so they get punishment. Right? They may get their the game taken away from them, for example, right? Not allowed to play games. You're not allowed to ride your bike. You're not allowed to go outside because X, Y, Z. You didn't do good on this or that. These disciplines, more often than not, what are they? Think about it. What are they? More often than not, they are interdisciplinary disciplines. Interdisciplinary disciplines. They'll get punished over because they didn't perform well on their math tests, or because in their biology class they got a D, or because in their history class they pulled off a C minus or something like this, right? They failed the test, or whatever the case is. They get in trouble. They get in trouble for interdisciplinary studies. And interdisciplinary studies, the likes of what was mentioned and others from that, undoubtedly they have a benefit. Undoubtedly they have a benefit. They benefit us here in this world. However, their benefit is lacking. Their benefit, it is not a complete benefit. It's an incomplete benefit. Why? Because it only benefits us in this world. Or many of these disciplines only benefit us throughout the duration of our career. That's it. They benefit us throughout the duration of our career and or subsequent schooling prior to that. They benefit us. But after that, they have no benefit whatsoever. Right? After that, there's no benefit whatsoever. Calculus, things of this nature, trigonometry, right? Trigonometry and things of this nature, do they benefit you? Outside of work and outside of being in school? Is this what you're going to use in your day-to-day? More than likely, no. More than likely, no. Ala kulli hal, but there is a knowledge, another type of knowledge, that benefits you here in this life, and it benefits you in the next life. It benefits you in this world, and it will benefit you in the next world. But this type of knowledge, unfortunately, a lot of times parents don't have a concern for as it relates to their children. They don't care if their children learning or not. They don't care if their children excelling or not. They really don't care. They don't have a real concern. How often is the case that children will be left in the schools of the masjid, they'll be dropped off at the school of the masjid and picked up week in and week out. Week in and week out. And it's very few parents that will even ask you, what is the homework? What is their assignment? They don't care. As long as they drop them off and pick them up, that's their only concern. I dropped them off. I put them in the Qur'an program, the weekend program. I feel good about myself as a parent. You know, look what I'm doing. But then there's no follow-up. There's no follow-up. And the teachers experience this when they have a difficulty getting the parents to help these children with their homework, to help them with their homework, to make sure they have the necessary materials to do their homework, whether the binders, the notepads, whatever the case is, right? To make sure before coming to class they have done their homework. They don't check. They're main concern, drop them off. That's it. Whether they learn, do well, don't do well, there's really no follow-up. Why is that? Why is this the case? When the knowledge that will go beyond the grave, that knowledge that will benefit your child in this world and in the next, that knowledge ultimately, that what? If a person seeks it, it will make the path to Jannah easy for them. Why is this knowledge neglected? And then we say we want good for our children. Listen, when it comes to interdisciplinary knowledge, parents will say, I make sure my children get good grades because I want them to be able to get into a good school, because in getting into a good school, they'll be able to land a better job, and by having a good job, then they will have a better life. They'll have an easy life, right? And okay, that makes sense. No one's arguing with that logic. It makes sense, right? Okay, that makes sense. However, what makes more sense, and that which should not be neglected, because we're not saying to neglect that, to neglect their grades and so on and so forth. We're not saying neglect that. We're saying to be diligent upon that. Okay? Be diligent upon that. Because, yes, that makes sense. It's going to benefit them. Because you want them to have a good life in this world. Okay, no problem. A parent should want that. That's what a parent should want. But even more importantly, and additionally, and more importantly, and even before that, they should want them to have a good life in the next world. They should want them to have a good life where in the next world. Even more importantly. In other words, for my children, I want them to go to the Jannah, first and foremost. And I want them to have a good life in this world. I don't want no harm to come to my children. I want their lives to be easy. Now, every parent wants that, right? Every parent wants that for their child. But at the end of the day, if I had to choose one of the two, either they have a good life in this world or they have a good life in the next, then I prefer they have a good life in the next world. I prefer they go to Jannah. At the end of the day, they go to Jannah. Whatever happens before that, as long as they go to Jannah, that's what's most important. That's what's most important. But unfortunately, the attitude of a lot of parents is, as long as they have a good life in this world, that's what's most important. I don't care about what comes after that. And that's reflective in the way that they interact with their children. That they would concentrate on that which would benefit them here, but I have no concern with that which would benefit them in the next world. This is a big problem. This is a big parenting problem. This is something that the parents really have to look at, because this is a deficiency. This is ultimately leading to the destruction of their children. They think they're doing good for their children, but they're really not. Ultimately, they're hurting their children. And I don't think any parent truly will ever intentionally want to hurt their child. I don't believe not any good parent that is. No, not any good parent. So in any event, this is something as parents we need to think about. And it's something as individuals, even before that, we need to think about for ourselves. You understand? Because at the end of the day, what's the purpose of everybody going to Jannah if you got to go to hell? What's the point of that? You should want to go to Jannah too. I know I want to go to Jannah too, as far as I'm concerned. But ultimately, I want to go to Jannah. I want to go to Jannah. That's my top priority. One of my top priorities, going to Jannah. I want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I meet Allah, I want Allah to be pleased with me. These are my top priorities. You understand? And these should be your top priorities. And you should instill into your children that these should be their top priorities. That when it's all over, said and done, no matter what happened, where you live, where you didn't live, what kind of car you have, what kind of car you didn't have, whatever. At the end of the day, as they say, when you meet your Lord, you meet him upon Tawheed. You meet him upon following the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You meet him and he is pleased with you. That's what's important. Because if you meet Allah and he's pleased with you, and he enters you into the Jannah, and he saves you from the hellfire and puts you in the Jannah, nothing before that even really matters. The night you went to sleep and you didn't have nothing to eat, who cares? The times that your car broke down and you had to take public transportation or take ride-sharing services, who cares? The time that your toe used to hurt you and that, who cares? Because now what? You in the Jannah for how long? Forever. Forever, ever, ever. So what came before that? Who cares? You was a doctor, you was a lawyer, you was an engineer, right? Or you didn't have any of those degrees, accolades, and the like. As long as you go to Jannah, like, who really cares? Who cares? I don't know. Just thinking. I don't know how you think, but that's how I think. In any event, this hadith is an encouragement to seek knowledge, legislative knowledge. Now, ilm al-shar'i, knowledge of the religion, knowledge so that you understand your religion. Those sciences and those tools that will help you better understand your religion, like learning the Arabic language and the sciences of the Arabic language. Now, this helps you understand Islam. It's not a destination, right? But rather learning Arabic and understanding Arabic is a tool. It's a tool. As some of the ulama used to say, لولا الكتاب والسنة ما تعلمنا العربية. They said if it wasn't for the book and the Sunnah, we wouldn't have learned Arabic. We learn Arabic, why? Because the Qur'an is in Arabic. We learn Arabic, why? Because the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in Arabic. Arabic within itself is not a destination. You understand? That's not the final destination. That's not the ultimate goal. But rather it's just a means to attaining understanding of the religion so that we can implement, live by, and apply the religion in our day-to-day life, so that when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we receive His mercy and get entered into the Jannah. See, this is what it's about. Arabic is just a tool. That's it. It's just a tool. So as long as you understand it, that it's a tool and it's not a destination within itself, it's not a goal within itself, then you're straight. When you look at Arabic like it's a goal, then what's the point of that? Because, I mean, some of the most eloquent Arabs to ever walk the earth was like Abu Jahl. Naam, Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab. They were some of the most eloquent people in Arabic language to ever walk the earth. But what did that eloquence in the Arabic language get them? Nothing. What did it benefit them? Nothing. Right? So Arabic within itself, no, it's not a goal. In any event, it's getting tools like that. Those tools, those disciplines that will help you better understand your religion. All of this enters into seeking knowledge of the religion. All of this enters into seeking knowledge of the religion. Knowledge of tafsir, knowledge of hadith, so on and so forth. All of this helps you, this is knowledge of the religion. So that knowledge of religion, like knowledge of tafsir, knowledge of hadith, and so on and so forth. Naam. And those sciences that help you better understand those disciplines, all of this enters into seeking knowledge of the religion or knowledge of the religion. Naam. So, ilm al-shar'i, this is what we have to be striving for, right? Was-suluk, that whoever takes the path, whoever seeks this knowledge of the deen, this legislative knowledge, they seek to become knowledgeable in Islam, okay? That whoever takes this, وَسُلُوكُ الطَّرِيقِ الْمَوْصُولَةِ, whoever takes the way to get this knowledge, whoever takes the way to get this knowledge, then Allah will make easy for them the path to the Jannah. Now the ways to get this knowledge, and this is very important, very important. The Shaykh, he mentions, he says they seek this knowledge and they take the means and they put in the effort to attain this knowledge. سواء كان ذلك بالسفر لطلبه, regardless of whether that is by traveling to seek it, because sometimes, yes, you have to travel. You may not have a scholar in your area, right? Or you may have scholars in your area, and then you may travel to what? To benefit from other scholars in other areas. Now, sometimes you have to travel, or you may travel to go to school in a certain place, or you may travel to go to a certain center, a learning center, in a certain place that's not in your country, that's not in your city, that's not in your state, right? All of this enters into going out to seek knowledge, right? Likewise, even on a lesser note, maybe there is a masjid that has a student of knowledge in your area, or not in your area, I should say, in an area that's adjacent to your area. So you have to travel to that masjid to attend those classes on those particular days, to attend those classes. That will enter into it. All of this is taking the path, trying to learn. Maybe a conference somewhere, right? Going to that conference. You may have to travel. You may have to get a plane ticket. You may have to hit the interstate, so on and so forth. All of this is in the way of seeking knowledge, so that you may learn. And I'm highlighting this because, listen, this becomes, or at one period of time, this was commonplace. People will travel 45 minutes, an hour, sometimes longer, to go to the masjid for a class, right? Okay. Or they will travel, a few states over to go to a conference. Okay, this is good, no problem. But don't forget the purpose of you going there. Because how often is the case people will travel, get on airplanes to go to a conference, go to that conference, and then at the conference don't take the classes seriously. It becomes more of a social event. It becomes more of a catching up event. You're seeing brothers you haven't seen in a long time, and Maybe they have a marketplace there. You want to get some books, you want to get some clothes and all this type of stuff. But the ultimate purpose was supposed to be to go there to learn something, right? But people, they don't come with that in mind. They come with the, nice pens in their pocket, and all that. And then the whole time, the pen is right there. The whole conference, the pen don't leave the pocket. So then what's the point of that? It's just decoration. That's one of your accessories. You know what I mean? No, it's there. So you always can write. You can always take notes. You can always take benefit. They show up. They don't have books, beautiful pens, nothing to write on. So what's the point? My point is, take it serious. When you seek it out and you travel to go places, take it serious. Go with the materials that you need. Whatever is your preference. You want to go old school, so you want to have pens and pads and paper and journals. That's fine. You want to go new school. You want to bring your iPad. You want to bring your computer, right? Digitally, things like that. Your stylus or your Apple Pencil, whatever the case is. That's cool. As long as you get the knowledge down, as long as you trap the knowledge, that's fine. Whatever way that you do that best and that's most comfortable for you, do that. Do that. You want to write it in the memo on your phone, that's fine. As long as you get it down, as long as you take it serious, no problem. But the point is, take it serious. Don't just show up just to be there. No, take it serious. Bismillahi ta'ala. So that is whether it be by traveling, or whether it be by taking the means by way in which you could attain that knowledge. Min iqtina' al-kutub al-mufida, by acquiring and the acquisition of beneficial books. The acquisition of beneficial books. Do you understand? You see the students of knowledge, right? Many of the students of knowledge, when they students of knowledge and imitating the mashayikh and benefiting from their character and their example and following their example, right? So you find that often students of knowledge, they will give their classes and their addresses inside of their libraries, right? Inside of their libraries, as you see behind me, a portion of my library, right? You will see this. And why is this the case? Is this because, you just got to buy a bunch of books, if you're a student of knowledge? Is that like you just got to buy a bunch of books? No. It's because this is part of seeking knowledge. You have a concern of acquiring books. Why? So that you could read them. And not for show, not for decoration, but so you can read them, so you can benefit. Your research material, your reference material, right? Books so you can benefit, you can learn about your religion. You study. So you buy these books because these are tools that help you study, that help you learn. Sheikh Hassan Abdul Wahab al-Banna, rahimahullah ta'ala, one time we were talking and he said to me, I was asking him a number of questions, right? And some of the questions that I would ask him, the purpose of me asking him, it was so other people could benefit from the answer. It wasn't necessarily because I wanted to know the answer or because I didn't know the answer. It was because I wanted other people to benefit from his answer. Why? Because I was dealing with the people who they didn't respect me. They didn't respect me. So what I had to say was like, yeah, whatever. We don't care what the sheikh said. But what he said had weight. Right, so I would ask him these questions, and some of the questions were kind of, were things that weren't too complicated, right? I should say. So the sheikh, he stopped me at one time. He said, "Listen," he said, "Why are you asking me these questions? You can find this answer yourself really easy." He said, when you go to school, he said your teacher or the professor in the university, he teaches you everything A to Z about a topic. Or does he direct you and then you have to go home, you have to study, you have to open up the books, you have to do research, and you learn a lot on your own, right? And I was like, nah, that is correct, Sheikh. He said, so what you ask me these type of questions for? You can easily find the answer yourself. What you asking me for? So I explained to him, I said, no, Sheikh, what happened is, these people around here, they don't respect me like that. So what I say, they don't care, but what you say has weight. So what you say is more beneficial. So I'm really asking so that they could benefit from your answer, not that I'm necessarily trying to know myself. And he said, oh, okay, that makes sense. He said, that makes sense. He said, because I was going to say, this is, he said, this seems like somebody trying to be lazy now. You want me to do everything for you, And I said, no. I just, they don't respect me, Sheikh. So I want them to benefit from your answer. Now, so the Sheikh, he laughed. He said, no, I understand. I get it. No problem. Then he went to answer the list of questions I had. In any event, but this is, what will help you is buying books, right? It's unfortunate, but now the people, they don't buy books anymore like that, or they buy them but they don't read them. So the Sheikh, he said, the acquisition of books, wa qira'atiha, and to read the books, wastifada minha, and to benefit from the books. So not just to buy them, right, but to read them, go through them, look at them. You understand? And this is how the student of knowledge should be. The person that's seeking knowledge, this is how they should be. Is that they should be a person who has a concern for books, not just buying them, but they buy them, they read them, they benefit from them, they take notes from them. Yeah. So therefore, as Sheikh Saleh Abdis Salaam Siddiq, he mentions that a student should never read a book except that he has with him a pen and an additional notebook that he can jot down the some benefits real fast, so that he learned that while they're reading, and also to highlight certain sections. You may want to highlight, you may want to under or overline certain sections, right, of the material that you're reading. So there's certain passages that you can easily come back to. You may want to put bookmarks in certain places. So there's certain passages that you can easily come back to in the book itself, and even make to make a tab in the book itself, for example, to have the writable tabs, that you can put a tab and say, and write the topic or the issue or the paragraph that you want to draw your attention to, so that you can quickly go back to that particular reference point in the book itself. And in addition to that, you have a notebook where you actually will write down that paragraph or that statement or whatever the case is, so that you may benefit and have a quick reference that you can study and memorize from, right? That you should never read except that you should have these tools with you. This is very important, because the point of acquiring the books is to attain the knowledge, and this is the point, to attain the knowledge. Now, the Sheikh, he says, he went on to say, wa mulazamatil ulama, also, right? Also, and the Sheikh is mentioning this not in the order of priority, but just mentioning certain things, and it could be said he's mentioning them in a manner that is the most easy to attain, right? Because when it comes to books and it comes to getting our hands on reference material in books, that's something that the vast majority of the people have access to. The vast majority of people have access to. Even those who can't afford to buy it will have access to a library where they can go and borrow it, or they can go to the library, sit and read and benefit from it. So when it comes to books, this is that which is accessible to the most majority of the people, right? So he starts with this because this is easy. Easy. Get your hand on some books, start reading them, start taking notes, start being serious, okay? And now, subhanAllah, with all the books online and PDF version, electronic version, and so on and so forth, subhanAllah, you get a lot of books now. There's a lot of books that I have electronic versions of that I've never even saw the physical book in my life. Never saw it before in my life. Didn't even know it existed until I saw it online in an electronic form. So benefit. We live in a time where, benefit. You understand? And there's no excuse that you're not benefiting. We live in a time where come on. You get so much stuff for free now. Really, come on. We just be playing. In any event, so he mentions first about the books and been reading them and benefiting from them. And then he says, and sticking to the ulama. Now, you got to stick to the ulama. This is something that not as accessible. They're not scholars everywhere. So sometimes you have to travel to go to scholars. Sometimes you may not have a scholar in your particular area, in your particular land, sometimes not even in your country. So you have to travel to go to that scholar. Or, right, or in addition, because you always want to travel and go physically, but also in the meantime and in between time to also follow the lessons of that scholar that are available online. Follow the lessons of that scholar that are available in tape form or in the recordings. I say tape form going back. Maybe I aged myself when I said that. But tape form, right? Or in an MP3 form, or in in whatever format that the audio has been recorded, or if it is a video, whatever format the video has been recorded, to benefit from those classes because they're being recorded, audio, visual, and so on and so forth. So we can benefit now like it wasn't available before. So this is a ni'mah, there's a bounty that we have to take advantage of. So we have to be serious in doing this. Be serious and connecting with the ulama as much as we can, listening to them as much as we can. Alhamdulillah, they have apps out. They have apps out now from some of the mashaykh where their materials and their classes, books, audio, and so on and so forth have been collected in an app. So now it's in an app. You can open the app and that's it. You can go through books in an app. So this is a benefit. This is a benefit, and a lot of this is not in English. So this is an encouragement to learn Arabic. There's an encouragement to learn Arabic because when you learn Arabic, the doors of what you could benefit from are opened up tremendously. Now, when you're dealing with a translated language, is limited, and what's been translated, right, is limited. Whereas if you knew Arabic, forget the translations, forget the translator. You have access to the sheikh himself. You have access directly to the sheikh's works. And the mashaykh are very beautiful individuals, very down to earth. Their numbers are available. You can call their phone and they will answer. You can type them on the be it WhatsApp or whatever, and they will answer you. They will answer your questions, and you can communicate with them directly. So this is an encouragement to learn Arabic. So sticking to the mashayikh, naam, and that's the thing. Sticking to the mashayikh wa mulazamati ulama, not these real scholars. Stick to the scholars. You understand? Wal akhdh anhum wa ghayri dhalik, and learning from them, and other than that. That you ultimately want to stick to the scholars and you want to learn from them and you want to benefit from them. So when you're far from them, you benefit from them by being able to read their books, listen to their recordings, watch their videos, attend their online classes and things like this. And this is benefit, right? This is benefit. But also, if given an opportunity, you want to go and travel to them. If you can, live in their areas where you see them on a day-to-day basis, right? Some of the greatest lessons I've ever learned came from being in close proximity to the ulama while living overseas, or during my stays overseas, when I would go for a month or a few weeks or so on and so forth, and get in close proximity, because the lessons that I will get, or the benefit that I will pick up from some of the mashayikh when sitting and eating with them, when visiting their homes and drinking tea with them. Some of the mashayikh, we have eaten ice cream together, and so on and so forth. When benefiting, the points of benefit that I get from them at these points, sometimes the stuff you're not going to get in the class, you're not going to read in the book. You're not going to get it in the class, you're not going to read it in the book. Seeing how the sheikh interacts with people, being able to sit back and watch the sheikh. Watch how he interacts with the person that's ignorant. Watch how he interacts with the person that's older than him. Watch how he interacts with the person that's younger than him. Watch how he interacts with his peer. You understand? Watch how he interacts with the students. Watch how he interacts with the non-students. Watch how he interacts with his children. Like the times we would be in the house of the mashaykh, and the children would come in. Sometimes small children, sometimes bigger. And interact and see the sheikh with his child. You learn. You learn things that you're not going to pick up in a book. So going to be with the mashaykh and spend time with them, and if possible, to live in the lands where they live, where the sheikh lives in your neighborhood, or let me put that another way. You live in his neighborhood, and you pray in the same masjid, and so on and so forth. This is the type of benefit you can't learn online. So you'll never be free from having to travel to learn from them. Now, and because that's when some tremendous benefit comes into effect. Now, that's when some tremendous benefit comes to the student. Ala kulli hal, the sheikh, he goes on And he mentions taking from the scholars, na'am, and sticking with the scholars. وَالْجَزَاءُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ, and the reward for that, the reward from taking from the scholars, the reward from that from Allah Ta'ala, وَجَزَاءُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ مِنَ اللَّهِ تَسْهِيلُ الطَّرِيقِ الَّتِي يَصِلُ بِهَا طَالِبُ الْعِلْمِ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ, is that Allah will make easy the path of which, will make easy the path that will lead the student of knowledge to the Jannah. That due to them seeking this knowledge and taking the means by way in which to acquire knowledge, due to them putting forth that effort, Allah will make it easy for them the path to the Jannah. Allah will make it easy for them the path to the Jannah. وَذَلِكَ يَكُونُ بِإِعَانَتِهِ عَلَى تَحْصِيلٍ مَا قَصَدٍ, and that is because they are seriously concerned. They have a concern for that in which they're seeking after. They have a serious concern. Now, they have a serious concern with acquiring that in which they intend to acquire, that in which they intend to seek, that in which is their intention. And that is what? To learn about the religion so that they may implement the religion, so that they may do that which is pleasing unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they want to go to the Jannah. Because they have a concern of wanting to go to the Jannah, and that concern of wanting to go to Jannah motivates them to seek knowledge so that they may do what Allah has commanded, seek knowledge so that they may know how to stay away from and what to stay away from, so that they seek knowledge so that they may fulfill the obligations, they seek knowledge so that they can stay away from the prohibitions, they seek knowledge so that they can learn about their Lord, they seek knowledge so they can learn about the prophets and the angels and the books and so on and so forth, the Qadr and the Day of Judgment. Now they seek knowledge so they can learn about the religion, so that they can practice the religion, so that they could, all of this seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that when they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ta'ala is pleased with them, and then they enter into the Jannah because they have a concern for this, and that concern is manifest in their seeking knowledge. Allah make easy for them the path to the Jannah. Allah makes it easy for them to path to the Jannah, because that's what they're seeking. That's what they want. They want the Jannah. And it's clear and evident in their actions. See, a lot of us, we say we want the Jannah. A lot of us say, yeah, I want Jannah. I want to go to heaven. But it's not really clear and manifest in our actions. We said we want to go to heaven, but then we living like we trying to go to hell. A lot of us is like that. We say we want to go to Jannah, but then we living like we want to go to hell. It makes no sense. But in the student, the way it should be in the student is that it's clear and manifest that yes, this person is trying to go to Jannah, because they're putting forth the effort. They're sacrificing from their time. They're sacrificing from meals are missed, sleep is lost, money is spent, resources utilized, resources depleted. You understand? Person gets sick. Their health, they get sick when they go to seek ilm. So many students, especially those students that study with me in Misr, we will speak about the times, the few times that we came close to death because we were so sick. The few times, not just from the standpoint of just sharing stories and speaking with people who understand the plight and understand the struggle. And understand the struggle. There's been times where students come close to death. They're so sick, rush to the hospital, so sick while they're studying, close to death. But they don't leave. They don't go home. Allah Ta'ala gives them healing, and they go back to studying. They go back to studying because it's about seeking that knowledge, trying to please Allah Ta'ala and do that which is correct. Ala kulli hal. These are signs, and this is the way it should be, that it shows that, yes, we truly trying to go to Jannah. And every Muslim should be truly trying to go to Jannah, right? Because who doesn't want to go to Jannah? So if that's what we truly want to do, then we have to look at the way we're acting and stop acting like we're trying to go to hell. على كل حال, the Shaykh says, فَيَكُونُ بِذَلِكَ مُحَصِّلًا لِلْعِلْمِ, because they have a concern to acquire that which they intend. So for that, so due to this, they will acquire something from knowledge. Now, so due to this, they will acquire something from knowledge. ويكون أيضا بإعانته على العلم بما علمه من أحكام الشرعية. And also they will have a concern على العمل. Very important. Also they will have a concern على العمل بما علمه من أحكام الشرعية. They will have a concern to implement what they know from the rules of the religion or the legislation. They will have a concern to implement their knowledge, because that's what it's about, implement the knowledge. Now, as it comes in the hadith, Sheikh Nasr, he mentioned Imam Al-Bani, rahimahullah ta'ala, the famous hadith, العالم الذي لا يعلم العالم الذي لا يعمل بعلمه كالمصباح يضيء للناس ويحرق نفسه. That the scholar that does not act in accordance to his knowledge, العالم الذي لا يعمل بعلمه, the scholar that does not act upon his knowledge, كالمصباح, he's like an oil lantern, right? And in this, what is meant is the wick of the oil lantern, the wick of the oil lantern, right? Because the wick, anyone who knows about an oil lantern, the wick is that which is on fire, right? And the wick is that it brings the light. But that wick, it eventually burns out. So you have to change the wick, every so often, because it will burn out. In any event, the scholar that does not act in accordance to what he knows is like that oil lantern or the wick. It gives out light to others while destroying itself. It gives out light to others while burning itself, meaning while destroying itself. So we have to act upon the knowledge. That's what it's about. We just don't acquire it for the sake of acquiring it, just min bab ilm bishay, just from the standpoint of FYI. No, so that we may live upon it, so we may implement it, we may act upon it. Now, and when we come up short, we make tawbah, because we know, astaghfirullah, I came up short, I need to make tawbah. It is incumbent that we act upon this ilm. That's why we seeking it, so we can act upon it. Now, or that's why it should be sought, so we act upon. وذلك يفضي به إلى دخول الجنة. And that, if a person does that, if a person has a concern to seek the knowledge and they take it serious and they do what they need to do to seek that knowledge and they acquire the knowledge and they act in accordance to that knowledge, then all of this, the Shaykh, he mentions, he says, وَذَلِكَ يُفْضِي بِهِ إِلَى دُخُولِ الْجَنَّةِ. All of that will lead to a person entering into the Jannah. Now, all of that will lead to a person entering into the Jannah. It is important. It is important that we strive to have our lives affected by these narrations. Not just we read them, but that we read them, understand them, benefit from them, take them to heart, and are changed and altered by them. Our life should be altered. So, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your passion is. Once you have heard the likes of this sentence from this narration, this should now add to your passion, add to your life's mission, learning something about your religion. Not everybody's going to be a scholar, and nor is it saying that everyone has to be a scholar. You can be a doctor. You can be a doctor. But you being a doctor, does that now make you free and exempt from having to learn about your religion? No. You can still love medicine and still strive to be the best doctor in your chosen field. But at the same time, if you really want good for yourself, you're going to want to learn something about your religion. So the basics of your religion, you have to know it anyway. So you're going to make sure that you are a scholar in the basics, that you are a scholar in what you have to know. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Talibul ilm fariida ala kulli Muslim." Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim, meaning seeking knowledge of the fundamentals of the religion, seeking knowledge of what is an individual obligation upon you is wajib. Is wajib. You have to learn it. So you have to learn your aqidah. You have to learn your minhaj. You have to learn the fundamentals of the religion. You have to learn how to pray. You have to learn how to fast, the rules relating to fasting. Learning how to pray, let's go back to the prayer. Learning how to pray means you have to learn those rules and regulations that are linked to purification. You have to learn the ahkam al-tahara. You have to learn the rules and regulations that's linked to water. Now, the types of water. What water could be used? What water couldn't be used? What makes the water, when the water is pure, when the water is impure. You have to learn all of that. How to make wudu, the ahkam al-wudu. How to make ghusl, the ahkam al-ghusl. How to make tayammum, the rules and regulations of tayammum. You have to learn all of that. All of that is connected to what? To the salah. And then the prayer itself, the rules of the prayer, the positions of the prayer, what is said in each position, the prerequisites of the prayer. All of that have to be learned. The pillars of the prayer, the obligatory aspects of the prayer. Everything about the prayer, you have to learn about it. That enters into what everybody has to learn. The ahkam of siyam, of fasting. Everybody has to learn about the rules and regulations of fasting, those who fast. Now, those who Allah Ta'ala has given them a surplus of wealth, and they have to pay zakat. You have to learn the rules and regulations of zakat. Now, those whom Allah Ta'ala has given them good health, has given them financial resources and the financial means, and you make hajj and umrah, you have to learn the rules and regulations of hajj and umrah, because it's wajib upon you. Now, in anything you do in life, you have to know the Islamic ruling on it. You want to get married, you have to know the Islamic rulings as it relates to marriage, so that you get married correctly. The process and everything is correct. Now, being a husband, you have to learn the rules and regulations and being a husband, the rights that the wife has upon you. You have to study that. You have to learn that. Now, so that you can give your wife her rights. You can treat her in a manner that's correct. And likewise for the wife, you have to learn the rules and regulations and the rights of the husband, so that you can fulfill his rights, so on and so forth. Everything you do in this life, you have to learn the Islamic regulations as relates to whatever that is. So some things are shared by everybody, and some things may differ from person to person, because not everybody deals in the exact same things. Now, the things like I mentioned, that's shared by everybody. But for example, something that may not be shared by everybody, for the poor person, for him, it's not wajib to learn about the ahkam al-zakat because he's poor, but it's recommended that he learn about it. But for the rich person, it's wajib he learn about it. Why? Because he has to do it. He has to pay. Right? So seeking knowledge on these things, that's everybody anyway. That should be everybody anyway. That's the default. But even that doctor and his discipline, right? And his chosen discipline, even him now is going to say, but you know what? I want to go a little beyond that. Why? Because whoever takes a path seeking knowledge therein, Allah will make easy for them the path to the Jannah. And who doesn't want that? So this hadith should change our lives and should make everybody want to be a student of knowledge at one level or another. However much they could be, however much they are capable of doing, they should try to get a piece of seeking knowledge. Why? Because they want to go to the Jannah. Then the Shaykh moves on to the next portion of the hadith, but inshallah ta'ala we'll leave that until the next time. فنكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وجزاكم الله خيرا.